Traffic enforcement in Lagos is unquestionably a tedious one, coupled with the changes introduced by COVID-19 pandemic. Traffic enforcement agencies now have more to do than ever before to ensure that motorists and commuters comply with the traffic rules in place. The new rules occasioned by the blowout of COVID-19 include that drivers must not carry more than 60% capacity, coupled with the compulsory use of face masks by all occupants of a vehicle, including the driver and the passengers.
When we carry 3-3, they normally arrest us. So we can't carry 3-3, we carry 2-2. It didn't favor us because the normal price we are carrying the passenger, that is the normal price. It's 100 naira. So people don't want to pay more than 100 naira. That is why.
The traffic this period is crazy. Everywhere is choked with traffic. Everybody facing a lot of things. Likewise, last week that I'm coming from Yaba, I spent almost 5 hours before getting to Yanopaja from Yaba.
Chatting with the crew of TV Independent in his office recently, Engineer Jide Oduyoye, the General Manager of LASTMA, shared with us how his agency plans to ensure better traffic flow. He also shared what has been his experience so far on the job.
Mine personally is culminating from my background. I'm a traffic and highway engineer from England, and I've been involved for the past 26 years, involved in safety and highway engineering, specializing in traffic management and traffic management engineering processing and systems, how to be safe on the road, on the highways, and how to improve mobility for road users in totality. I came back from England in 2005 as a World Bank consultant with Lamata, and I was responsible for traffic management and safety on the highways. Now, in the process of that, of course, I noticed so many things that is not okay in this Lagos and in Nigeria as a whole, i.e. the way we manage transportation, traffic management, and majorly the behavioral aspects of our citizens. So what have I achieved? What I've achieved, in my little humble opinion, is to constantly drag it into the minds of officers that this job is a job that requires passion. It's a job that requires responsibility. It's a job that requires someone having a personal goal that they want to make a change as well. Rather than I'm just a LASTMA, I'll just do the little bit I can do and just move on. I don't want to subscribe to the notion of the fear of LASTMA is the beginning of wisdom. I really don't want to do that. Because once the citizens have fear, it means that they are not in tune with what you want to achieve. It means they don't understand the rules of engagement. Because you're not supposed to have fear in an environment like ours. So I don't subscribe to it. What I subscribe to is for every citizen to do the right thing with the consideration of every other road user. And then LASTMA officers would only have the full responsibility to just stop this junction and let this one go and stop this. It's too easy. LASTMA does not need to be chasing people who have decided to put their wares on the walkway, forcing pedestrians to walk on the road, thereby reducing the width of the road, thereby causing slowness of traffic movement because the vehicle does not want to hit the pedestrians on the road. LASTMA does not need to do that. And that is where the issues are. Where when you're now forced to be doing all those things, people will not say, oh, you must fear LASTMA. Why must you fear? If you don't do the wrong thing, you don't have a business with LASTMA officer. You do not. Enforcement should come to the barest minimum because people are adhering to what should be done. We are driving with care. We're driving with consciousness of respect for other road users. And that is where we need to go. But, having said that, if the fear in the Nigerian context is what we want to adopt, then so be it. So be it. That is why even during the COVID-19, as we're still inside, when the government says everybody have a distance situation in public transportation and wear your face mask, LASTMA officers are enforcing that. Why would they do that? Because if the pandemic increases in our environment, everyone will pay the price. And when you have in the law authorized officers, it doesn't necessarily, I am saying this because a lot of people seem to have this thing in their heads that LASTMA is just there for traffic. Why would they be enforcing face mask? It's because anything to do with enforcement, authorized officers are in the law is empowered to enforce. It doesn't have to be a moving vehicle, whatever. And because you're inside vehicles and on the road, is the link between LASTMA enforcing such things or not. When you have illegal turnings, engineering-wise, you must put some kind of measures, traffic islands, central islands, barriers to stop someone from doing illegal turn, rather than LASTMA officer hiding in the corner, waiting for someone to violate and capture us into a wall. Education. Start from school. Start educating the children, because the attitude that we grew up with is what we have seen. The children of nowadays, everything they will do in the next 10, 15, 20 years will be what their parents are doing right now. Then you now come to enforcement. In any society, if there is no enforcement or lack of enforcement or enforcement that is not effective, human beings will begin to behave like animals where there's no control. Speeding, you break any speed rule because there's no enforcement. So enforcement is key in whichever guise you want to put in place. Somebody must pay a price for the decision that they make for themselves to stop somebody else from making the same decision that feels that they can get away with it because there's no enforcement. So when anyone is feeling terrible that LASTMA has accosted them or arrested them for not using face mask, it's your fault. Somebody must stop you from not doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing. Somebody. It doesn't matter whether it is Mr. Oduyoye who is LASTMA. It doesn't matter whether it is you. But somebody must have the authority to enforce so that the attitude that is not acceptable, that is not allowed, that attitude does not fester to be a bigger thing that will now roll into a bigger stone that cannot be controlled. So you must have engineering, you must have education, and you must have enforcement. Some would argue, oh, they've noticed that LASTMA officers do not stop downfall drivers. All right? And the answer is, in so many cases, that is true. But it's not because of personal interest. It's because of the lack of education of road use by the operator or the driver of the downfall that will scare the LASTMA officer who is vulnerable, who doesn't have a gun, who has a family and children to protect. Because once a downfall driver is violating, just like the Okada is thinking of escaping, and he doesn't care who gets killed as a result of achieving that. So when you have history and records of LASTMA officers that have been killed, injured, legs maimed, they are in hospital, they have wooden legs, the records are there. All right? When a LASTMA goes on the road and he sees a behavior of a downfall driver and he sees what he's doing and you want to stand in front of him in order to effect stop and talk or arrest him, when he's coming at you at speed, God help you if you don't get out of the way. God help you. And I'm not saying that on behalf of LASTMA, I'm saying it on behalf of myself, because that's exactly what they have done to me on numerous occasions, including private vehicle owners as well, including children of rich people on Victoria Island. I am talking about personal experience. I'm not talking about stories. I am not talking about stories. The children of rich people on the island that have military escorts misbehave to such an extent, they have been willing to run me off the road because I'm trying to stop them from going against traffic. That is the truth. In my official capacity. I am standing on the road, I am controlling traffic. I am talking about 12 in uniform, talking about 12 o'clock at night. I'm talking about 1 o'clock at night. When I have seen traffic build up, I have parked my vehicle with my orderly. We've decided we cannot walk away from this, we have to control. I'm on my way to a function. I forgot about the function. We stood on the road controlling traffic. Wearing uniform, reflective jacket, badge, everything, LASTMA officer fully identified. And you stop them and they're ready to run me off the road. I have been threatened. I think sometimes my English has saved me. I think. Otherwise, I will give you evidence of how many times I've been told that they will slap me. It's the truth. I'm the GM. And I'm confident in myself. So you tell me, a junior LASTMA officer who has just come into the system, let's say 2 years experience, does not know what authority, he doesn't even know the big guy that he's talking or whatever, that Nigerian mental fear is there, what's he going to do? I am telling you as a fact, we are working in a harsh and unfriendly environment that drivers are willing to kill us just so they can maintain their big boy status or maintain escaping from violating.
To surmount the barrage of challenges confronting LASTMA, the GM has solicited the cooperation of other security agencies, even as he insists that the highest number of traffic offences comes from the rank and file of these security organizations.
Well, even from years ago, even before I came to LASTMA, there has always been an ongoing issue. And the whole idea is to seek audience with the senior authorities of these sister agencies that you mentioned. Because in reality, and on record, and as a fact, they are the ones that constitute most of the physical abuse on LASTMA officers. Yes, mostly the military. If we're looking at the highest number of violators of the traffic law, especially BRT, driving against traffic, all sorts of major ones that could create chaos and accidents, it is them that do it. And it is on the premise that nobody can touch them because they have uniform. They even go as far as even be camouflaging and be driving downfall public transport buses. And it is obvious when you see these officers being a permanent passenger on the front seat from morning till night. So you're wondering, where are you going that you have not reached since morning? No bus stop, all right? So, but the collaboration should be, and it happens. I can tell you categorically that their senior officers are not happy with the situation on ground, and they will tell you that they do everything, and if they catch one, they will sanction. If someone says that, you can't begin to argue with them, so you just leave it and hope for a better situation. But the record so far, it's not very good.
For more updates and news on the go, log on to independent.ng. Also subscribe to this channel for more videos. This is TV Independent.